Alright, Shalom. Right, first and foremost, want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kadash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles of great mercy that surely do well. Salutation to the Akim that push this without the insincerity and truth. Brother Lamar once again from GMS Trinidad. Right, like to do another video, hope it's edifying towards the hopefully elect the nation of Israel. Right, today is Good Friday. Alright, and just was looking up on an article there, the pagan traditions of Easter, because hey, we living in a age where knowledge being increased, and you wacky tacky ass Christians, you're basically still into things of the world. The scriptures say fools hate knowledge, right? And you Israelites out there, you hate knowledge, you hate research, right? You people not seeking after Yahweh Shem Shai. That is why you people go and die. All these traditions, all these customs that you got from the other nations. This is why you were called Gentiles in the first place. Alright? Because they pick up the customs of the ancient traditions, right? Easter isn't a tradition of the Hebrew Israelites. We have to keep the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? This is the book of Mark, chapter 7, verse 6. He answered and said unto them, well hath Esaias, which is Isaiah, prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honored me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Right? So yeah, you people will say, you know what, I love the Lord, I love the Lord, I love the Most High, but you don't search. How you love somebody that you don't know. Alright? Your love is not only based on words, but it's also based on actions. If you love Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you'll do the things that is pleasing unto him. That is what keeping judgment. Alright, not these traditions of men. Scriptures say if you love the Most High, you keep the commandments, for this is the love of the Most High. The Most High loved us, this is why he also gave us commandments. Alright, but their heart is far from me. Why? Your thoughts, your mind is not set up on the Lord. Your mind is set upon the things of the world. Right? You studying, alright, you'll take your children to go Easter egg hunting, alright, which makes no sense, because as we say, a rabbit cannot lay eggs, alright, even though it have a story behind it, right? Just to have fun, right? The word fun means to make one foolish, right? The scriptures say, and all better is to dwell in the house of mourning than in the house of mirth. And right now we're in that time that we're supposed to be mourning, right? The book of Isaiah chapter 22 verse 14 says, and the Most High are called to weeping and mourning, but behold, slain oxen, right, and gladness, right, and slain a sheep. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we shall die. And that is the wrong spirit to be in at this time. The time that the vengeance of the Lord is the vengeance, the Most High vengeance is in his heart, but you people studying to play the royal ass. Alright, making yourselves a fool, right? That scripture also went on to say that you people are foolish children. Alright, your heart far from the Most High. You don't think upon the ways of the Most High. You people the Most High had made for his glory and for his praise, but you're going wrong in the things of the wicked. Alright, verse 7, howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Yeah, because when the scripture said to celebrate this Easter thing, it goes back to the Greek word pashe or something like that, but the Hebrew word is pashak, which means Passover. Alright, but what does a Easter rabbit and eggs have anything to do? Right? For the Passover, what you're supposed to be doing, you're supposed to have a lamb. Alright, which Easter goes back to Ishtar or Ashtar, right, the goddess of fertility. But for the Passover, you're supposed to have bitter herbs, right, which is for mourning. Alright, you're supposed to have lamb, which represents Yahushai, right? The bread, all right, which represents his body, that which should be broken, and the wine, which represents his blood, all right. And after you eat the Passover, with your which Passover is for the men, really and truly, you're supposed to gird your loins with a belt. You're supposed to have your boots on your feet, and a staff in your hand. And after you don't eat, get the ass out. It's a solemn feast. But you people studying to go and search for chocolate eggs. That is, hey, you people totally whack. For laying aside the commandment of the Most High, ye hold the traditions of men. Right? So yeah, you lay aside the commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushai to hold the traditions of men. Right? Because you people don't keep Passover. Alright? I hate when you people really do this madness, Alright. Easter and its connection to Passover. Easter is associated with the Jewish festival of Passover. Right? So basically what they did, they just mixing the Easter with the Passover. Basically to get you people mind off of the truth. Right? Passover, through its symbolism and meaning, as well as its position in the calendar. Some early Christians choose to celebrate the resurrection of the Lord on the same date as Passover, which reflects Easter having entered Christianity during its earliest Jewish period. Evidence of a more developed Christian festival of Easter emerged around the mid-2nd century. Alright? So basically it's a Christian thing, which the Lord and his followers weren't Christians. If you do research, they were more known as the followers of Mashiach. They were known as brethren. Alright, some of them was known as Nazarenes. Alright, never as Christian. It's only in Antioch they were known as Christians or Christians, right? Which is a pagan religion. Alright. So in the year 325 AD, Emperor Constantine convened. Just now, this wasn't the alright, can't Salakia, right? Because I was reading through it before, so Babakasha Salak. Right, Salak. Easter is a festival and holiday celebrated by millions of people around the world who honor the resurrection of the Lord from the dead, described in the New Testament as having occurred 3 days after his crucifixion at Calvary. It is also the day that children excitedly wait for the Easter bunny to arrive and deliver their treats of chocolate eggs. Tell me what a bunny has to do, or a hare has to do with anything and chocolate eggs. It says Easter is a movable feast which is chosen to correspond with the first Sunday following the full moon after the March equinox, and occurs on different dates around the world, since Western churches use the Gregorian calendar while Eastern churches use the Julian calendar. And guess what? If you do research, research will show you that the Israelite calendar, which is if you people are really supposed to be followers of the Lord, you'll know that the Lord used a lunar calendar, since the Jews calendar, right, was strictly lunar. Alright, what these people do on certain holidays like this, especially using the lights like an equinox, right, they offer sacrifices, right, blood sacrifices. Okay, so it's a movable feast. The Lord has his feast or according to his lunar calendar. But these people move their feast because why? It is not of the Heavenly Father, right? So they use the Western Hemisphere use the Gregorian calendar, and the Eastern use the Julian calendar, all right? But the Lord, right, and the people in Israel, the people who, if always say, always follow the Lord, supposed to be following the lunar calendar, all right? Hypocrites, right? It says, Most historians, including biblical scholars, agree that Easter was originally a pagan festival. According to the New Unger's Bible Dictionary, the word Easter, of Saxon origin, Ishtar, the goddess of spring, right? The goddess of spring. So you see, it only have one god. So where this goddess come from? So you see, you don't see the paganism in it. Right? It says, in whose honor sacrifices were offered about Passover. You see? In whose honor sacrifices were offered about Passover. So these people probably just be doing child sacrifices and stuff. I would not know. I do not do this shit. Right? It says, offered about Passover time each year. It says by the 8th century, Anglo-Saxons had adopted the name to designate the celebration of Mashiach's resurrection. However, even among those who maintain that Easter has pagan roots, there is some disagreement over which pagan tradition the festival emerged from. Here we will explore some of those perspectives, right? So it had confusion over which pagan roots it came from. Alright, because if you read up, they're talking about, coming down to the next one I'll read, which I'm not going to read this whole article. They talk about Tammuz, and they talk about his wife, whatever her name is, we'll read it. Alright, which Tammuz is Nimrod's son by his mother, Seramus. Alright, so it's Babylonian. Alright, resurrection as a symbol of rebirth. On one theory that has been put forward is that the Easter story of crucifixion and resurrection is symbolic of rebirth and renewal, and retails the cycle of the seasons, the death and return of the sun. I did not know that the sun could have died. According to some scholars, such as Dr. Tony Nugent, teacher of theology and religious studies at Seattle University and Presbyterian minister, the Easter story comes from the Sumerian legend of Tammuz. Alright, this says Sumerian, but we all know Tammuz is the son of Nimrod, the first Babylonian king. Alright, in history, read the book of Genesis chapter 10, Genesis chapter 11. Right, it says, and his wife Anna or Ishtar. Right, an epic myth called the descent of Inanna. So please forgive me with the pronunciation of these things. Alright, please forgive me, I'm not eloquent in these kind of speeches. It says, found inscribed on cuneiform clay tablets dating back to 2100 BC. When Tammuz died, right, Ishtar is grief stricken and follows him to the underworld. Right, the Israelites used to do the same thing. Right, back in the book of Ezekiel chapter 8. Alright, when the woman used to meet to Tammuz. Alright, which length is the 14 days meeting. Right, it does not represent when the Lord was fasting for 40 days. Right, this length is actually the representation of fasting for 14 days to Tammuz. Right, because he died at the age of 40. Because when the Lord was fasting, he did not eat no fish. Right, you people pick up pagan customs. Alright, as some brothers, the reason why we enslaved, the reason why we under these curses, because you Israelites hardy and proud as hell. Alright, going behind dumb gods, dead people. Yahushua died, but he rose again. Alright, these people did not do that. Alright, and Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, is the one that rose him. So they are witnesses and so shall I. Who is to witness that Tammuz or his wife was resurrected? Who are the witnesses? Alright, the Lord So if anybody watch that is just to tell you that the Egyptians, they themselves get their custom from Babylon. Because if you watch Gods of Egypt, this is the same thing that went on with the 7 gates of the underworld and blah blah blah. Alright? It says, and her worldly attire is removed, naked and bowed low. She is judged, killed, and then hung on display in her absence, and she's supposed to be a god, right? Wow. The earth loses its fertility, crops cease to grow, and animals stop reproducing. Unless something is done, all life on earth will end. Who made these people gods? Alright, it says after Inanna has been missing for 3 days, her assistant goes to other gods for help. So you see where they indoctrinate, alright, their pagan customs within the scriptures. Alright, this is Ishtar, alright. You people, some of you Baptists, you can't ring in your bell, alright, and walking around with a cross. It is the only custom we're supposed to keep is eating the lamb. Alright, we're not supposed to be carrying around no cross or no rosary or these kind of things. The only thing we're supposed to do is eat the bread, the wine, the lamb, and the bitter herbs, unleavened bread that is to be. Alright. It says after Inanna has been missing for 3 days, her assistant goes to other gods for help. Finally, one of the Inkai creates 2 creatures who carry the plant of life and water of life down to the underworld, sprinkling them on Inanna and Tammuzai, resurrecting them and giving them the power to return to the earth as the light of the sun for 6 months. After the 6 months are up, Tammuz returns to the underworld of the dead, remaining there for another 6 months, and Ishtar pursues him, prompting the water god to rescue them both. Thus were the cycles of winter death and spring life. Alright, so this is some of the ancient depiction of that. Alright, okay, so you see here, I'll read a part in this too. Dr. Nugent is quick to point out that drawing parallels between the story of the Lord and the epic of Inanna doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't a real person, right? Yahushua is his name, alright, not Jesus. It says who was crucified, but rather that if there was the story about it is structured and embellished in accordance with a pattern that was very ancient and widespread. The Sumerian goddess Inanna is known outside of Mesopotamia by her Babylonian name Ishtar. In ancient Canaan, Ishtar is known as Astarte, and her counterparts in the Greek and Roman pantheons are known as Aphrodite and Venus. In the 4th century, when Christians identified the exact site in Jerusalem where the empty tomb of the Lord had been located, they selected the spot where a temple of Aphrodite, Astarte, Ishtar, Inanna stood. The temple was torn down, and the sole church of the Holy Sepulchre was built, the holiest church in the Christian world. Alright, so yeah, that is all I'll basically read on this. So if you people really said that you love the Most High, you will keep his commandments and not follow after these things. Right? The scripture says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Alright? Just one more precept I'd like to bring. I don't want to make the video too long. Right? I had a whole heap of video precepts coming to mind, but you know, us Jakes have a short attention span. I feel that is the reason why we always end up in captivity after the priest and them was reading the laws on the Sabbath day. This is why we always ending up, you know. That is why Yahweh Hashem Yahushua had to put the laws in we had. That short attention span. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 1, one of the most famous precepts. Alright, it says Jeremiah 10 verse 1 and 2, hear ye the word which Yahweh Hashem Yahushua speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Alright, for the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe, They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. Alright? So yeah. It also teaches you about the Christmas tree. Right? But the main point is learn not the way of the heathen. Alright? You are an Israelite. You are not Sumerian, Babylonian. Alright? You are not an Egyptian. You are not Greek. Alright? Yes, we are Hellenized, right? We are called Greek, but you are not Greek. Alright? We are Hebrew Israelites, the sons of the living power. We're supposed to be keeping his commandments and nothing else. Alright? So yeah, with that I want to give our praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Harakakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. I surely do well. Salutation to all Yakim that push this word out there in sincerity and truth. Brother Lamar once again saying Shalom to the hopefully elect, right? Mawat la Babal, right? Shalom la Bakaria.